And then in gaming and tech this week, it's been a little weird. We really need to talk about how Microsoft just shadow dropped a new console. We're also going to get into the limited time remix bosses over in Elden Ring. And we have another games showcase coming up. This time it's Capcom's turn, so we're going to get a little speculative as to what might be happening there. Gaming and tech's not huge this week, so we're going to get to that, maybe a couple other things, and there you go. Let's do this. Welcome once again, nerds, to the Clips channel. This is a smaller portion of a much larger video called The Week in Nerddom that happens over on the main channel. This portion is specifically the gaming and tech portion, where we're going to be talking about brand new things in the world of gaming and tech. So like new computer things. We don't really get too deep into that. I feel like the guys over at Linus and Gamers Nexus and such cover that fairly well. So we'll get the broad strokes there. We'll get in a little bit more deeply in the gaming side of things, so new announcements, DLCs, etc. And then, you know, we're going to suggest some things for you to try out between now and next time you come back. So thank you for joining me. Let's get into the news. All right, follow-ups and corrections for gaming and tech. We have one correction this week, actually, and it is because last week I couldn't remember the name of the little sidekick for Donkey Kong that's causing all of the timeline crises, because what the hell is Pauline is her name. What the hell is Pauline doing in this game? She's the original princess that Jumpman, before he was Mario, Jumpman was trying to save in the OG arcade for Donkey Kong that was technically Cranky Kong in the modern continuity. And oh my god, I feel like we're putting way too much thought into this storyline for basically a children's game. It's still fun, it's platforming, it's puzzle solving, it's great fun for people of all ages, but like, it's bright colors and big shapes. That's generally something for children, but whatever. I'm not judging. I just think it's silly that we're worried so much about the storyline in Donkey Kong, but whatever. That's our one correction. We do have follow-ups. We have Elden Ring Night Rain next up on the list. A new update for Elden Ring is, again, free now. This is adding a new version of the original bosses before Night Rain, before the expansion. This is new versions of those bosses. It's going to be one boss per week until they cycle through them all. I didn't see whether or not it was going to be like once they hit the end of the cycle, if it was just going to start again and they're going to move through week per week until it's done, or it did say limited time, so I'm assuming they're just going to go through all of the original bosses and then call it good. But basically what they're doing is they're making them more difficult. They're increasing the difficulty level and they're remixing the way the bosses attack, because once you learn the pattern, that's how you beat the boss. You have to learn the pattern and then get fast enough to react to the pattern, and then that's how Souls-like games work, basically. Well, it's going to get a little bit more difficult. It is currently going right now. If you have Night Rain, you might want to go back to Gaping Jaw is the boss that is currently being remixed. He will be available until the 26th. So that might be today, actually, as I'm nope, that's tomorrow as I'm recording this. So hopefully I get this up soon so you'll know. But the next boss is a Sentient Pest and Dark Drift Knight are the successive bosses, and the remaining bosses have yet to be announced which order they're going to be remixed in. But again, it is presumed that all of the original bosses from the base game are going to be remixed for a week at a time. So that's pretty freaking cool. Next up we have, and also for this, the thing that you earn for beating these remix bosses is you'll get sigils for each boss, assuming you beat them. I don't know, I don't have Night Rain, I don't have that kind of time to put into a game. Well, I do, but I put that kind of time into Mortal Kombat, not into Night Rain, or into Elden Ring, rather. So I don't know what the sigils do, if they do anything. If you know, please let me know in the comments, because I'm very curious, but that's what we got, so let's move on. That is all we have for follow-ups and corrections. Let's move into regular-ass news, because we got no trailers either, sadly. All right, nerds, we're gonna cut away from the show real quick and we're gonna do our little sponsor spot. DUBBY, channel partner, they have put out a new flavor and it is s'mores. And that's what I have in here is the s'mores flavor. S'mores is unique in that you mix it with milk instead of water like the other powdered drinks that they have. But gotta be honest with you, this is addicting. It's 250 milligrams caffeine total in here, just like all of their other blends. 100 milligrams of that comes from the coffee fruit extract. So you have actually kind of a hybridization of the caffeine in this. We're gonna get a little nerdy about our caffeine intake real quick. So the hybridization comes from, you have the caffeine, I'm gonna have to look at the ingredients. It's anhydrous, that's the word I was looking for. Caffeine anhydrous is the artificial caffeine. It's the stuff that you metabolize really quickly. That is the stuff that you'll burn through really fast. And that usually is what gets you the crash, the quote unquote caffeine crash that you get from lesser brands of caffeine. Well, because you also have 100 milligrams of coffee fruit extract, which is where they get that caffeine from, that is the stuff that you metabolize a little bit slower because it is a natural source of caffeine. So that's what helps the crash, helps you avoid the crash is what I'm trying to say. That is why this is something that they can say you don't get a jitter from because you have natural caffeine in here as well. So it kind of, you ride that a little bit better than you would the fake caffeine. You also have the nootropics in here. You also have the good stuff for your brain, the stuff that's getting you aware and conscious so that you can do the nightly grind, so you can stay up and edit your YouTube videos for 12 hours, or you can do the study hall stuff and get ready for the test, assuming you're in school of some sort, or whatever the need is that you have for an energy drink. DUBBY does it and they do it cheaper. Each portion of this turns out to be right about $1. With your discount, it's a little bit cheaper because you get 10% off if you go to dubby.gg and then use code generallynerdy at checkout in order to buy your DUBBY. I'm halfway through my first s'mores portion, and so normally I film these after I've already filmed the show for the day. We're doing it before because I'm definitely going to finish this before I'm done filming the show because it's legitimately really delicious. Like dangerously tasty. Tastes just like, it's more like a chocolate shake with marshmallows than s'mores, but like that's kind of what s'mores is chocolate and marshmallows, right? And it's exactly what this tastes like. So DUBBY s'mores is their new special flavor. They're the only people who do a s'mores flavor. Most of the other flavors they have are kind of variations on something that everybody else does. This is absolutely unique to DUBBY. Super dig it. I'm appreciative that they chose to partner with the channel. I'm super happy for that. Again, is the website. Code generallynerdy at checkout gets you 10% off your whole cart when you check out. You can only use one code at a time, so be aware. And they run specials all the time outside of that too. So if you get on the mailing list, you'll catch all the specials. You can always use my code though, generallynerdy at checkout, and that will always get you 10% unless you have another code. So go check out DUBBY. I'm gonna finish this soon and we're gonna get back to the show now. Although I guess kinda technically the Capcom Showcase is a trailer. It hasn't happened yet, so it's a trailer for the showcase, but really the news piece is the showcase. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. First up though, we have Meta Quest 3S. This is a new Xbox console. Microsoft has teamed with Meta. It's basically a limited edition Meta Quest 3. They're calling it, again, the Meta Quest 3S. And it is, once they are out of stock, they are done. Apparently Microsoft is not paying to manufacture, because I think Meta is technically in charge of the manufacturing. But once they're done, they're done. They're not making any more consoles. So this is a super limited release. The big difference between this Xbox branded Meta Quest and the regular Meta Quest is you get an Xbox controller and it comes bundled with not just 3 months of what is the service, it's called Horizon Plus, which is Meta's gaming service, but it also has 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for the Xbox side of things. So this is, I mean, there are larger implications here aside from Microsoft just putting their brand on something that already exists and calling it something new, which is by and large what they did. But it seems that they're allowing more third-party consoles access to their gaming service, which is more indication of the future of Microsoft gaming. Because right now the big question mark is if they're releasing their proprietary games on other consoles, therefore no longer being proprietary, what the hell is the motivation to purchase an Xbox console? If I can just play Xbox games on a PlayStation in the future, like, where is this going? So it's still a little murky as to the end game that they're trying to aim for, but now we at least see a little bit more of the plan, I guess. I don't know, it's really weird, but it'll have access to Game Pass, so that's cool. Let's move on. Next up on the list is Mario Kart 64. This is a real quick piece that I wanted, because we talk about homebrew stuff from time to time here because it's really fascinating what the fan communities can do. Mario Kart 64, there's a little bit of preamble for this. So, oh man, it was about a year ago that they successfully created a decompiler for Nintendo 64 games, which basically means they can take the original code from the cartridge of these games and decompile it and then recompile it in a PC program so that you're not emulating hardware, it's running native on your computer, which makes things go a lot smoother for the modding community, makes things go a lot smoother for the emulation community, because it's not technically emulation, though you are changing the console. You're changing from console to PC, I guess is more appropriate, which again changes the experience a little bit, makes the game run better, and you don't have to worry about compatibility with console because you're not emulating, you're running native. So since that has happened, we've got a number of games that have been decompiled and recompiled on PC. Legend of Zelda and Majora's Mask, that's what I was looking for. We have the OG Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and there's a short list of other games. This is just the most recent game on that list, but it looks crazy because it has 16:9. Actually, it has ultra wide support too, which looks even crazier. But even just the 16:9 looks pretty crazy. Everything looks pretty fish-eyed because the way it was originally coded was for a 4:3 TV ratio because we were playing it on CRTs back in the day. And now it's being played on widescreen monitors and ultra widescreen monitors, so the stuff on the sides of the screen is getting super warped. It looks, again, pretty freaking bonkers, but runs very, very well. And I'm pretty sure there's even an online community for multiplayer. Don't quote me on that because I wasn't able to find that explicitly, but I'm pretty sure some of the videos I saw was people playing via online connection. So that's kind of awesome in and of itself. But go check out there's just some videos. I linked to at least one. I linked to at least one down in the show notes. So that's definitely worth a look on your part. But yeah, that's pretty freaking awesome. And then our final piece here is the Capcom Showcase. Capcom Showcase is happening on the 26th, so tomorrow as I'm filming this, which means we will be talking about whatever they actually reveal next week in next week's show. But it is expected that we're going to get much more of Resident Evil 9 Requiem. We're also expected to get a bit more of Pragmata, which really has me intrigued from the Summer Games Fest showcase, because that game looks pretty freaking wild. It's like BioShock in space. And I mean that, like I say that about other games, which applies, but I think it applies in a different way for this one than it does for other stuff. Like Outer Worlds is kind of BioShock, and Fallout had a baby and then it went to space, right? So this, though, is BioShock in space in that you kind of have a little sister at your side. She's an android, but like it still has that similar like storytelling dynamic, so it's really interesting. We don't know a whole lot about the story as it stands right now, so I'm hoping we get a little bit more at the Capcom Showcase. But yeah, your guess is as good as mine. What game are you hoping to see? We're very likely also going to be seeing some Street Fighter stuff because we're in the middle of the current release cycle, so we'll probably see gameplay from the next character, I would imagine, on the Street Fighter side of things. Beyond that, I really don't know what to expect. So again, what do you expect out of the Capcom Showcase? Let's talk about that down in the comment section. And then that leaves our suggestion for the week, because that was all we have for regular ass news. So, gaming suggestion this week, we're gonna steer clear of Mortal Kombat because obviously that's taking up all of my time. Also Splitgate, because whatever extra time I have for gaming is going to that. The other thing that I'm trying to get back into the habit of, because I have a couple of friends who are playing it actively these days, is Fallout 76. I have not been giving enough attention to Fallout 76. We got the new Gone Fission expansion, which from most accounts is kind of a meh kind of expansion, but you get the regular quality of life upgrades that you get with every expansion. It is still free for Xbox players, so there's that, because yes, please and thank you. And it's super cheap on other platforms too, so like it's not like you're really investing much. But your suggestion this week is Fallout 76. Bethesda had a horrible launch with this game. No one is saying that this was a great game to start with, but I really feel like it is getting in the realm of great. It's really good right now. I think they're gonna get it great before they finally abandon it, but that's just my opinion. That is your suggestion for the week. Go play a couple hours of Fallout 76, see what you're missing with all of your friends, and yeah, let's maybe meet up somewhere. Thank you very much, nerds, for tuning in. If you want to level up your nerdy, geeky, pop culture knowledge, then don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy, for the larger portion. Again, you get all of the sections into one convenient video over on Generally Nerdy. The name of the show is The Week in Nerddom. Thank you for checking out this clip. We will see you next time. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.